Hey, it's Lisa here, and today's blog is about why you should write a book. Now, I think if you want to be an authority, then being an author is a really great start. I met up with an old friend last week for coffee. Andrew has had an incredible career. He's got a huge amount of expertise and some very specialised experiences, and he's keen to write a book to capture everything he has learnt, everything he has done, and to share his experiences with the world. We spent a couple of hours discussing why and how people write books. So I want to start this week with why you should write a book. The first reason is that books get you booked. It's commercially smart to have a book when you are selling yourself. A book positions you as an expert. It shows the world that you know some stuff. And a book is proof that you have the knowledge, authority, courage, and a whole lot of grit. It shows that you know something so deeply that you curated and created 30,000 words on a topic. A book is actually an extremely heavy business card, and I think it is proof that you are worth working with. The second reason why you should write a book is that you will learn about yourself. Pushing yourself to squeeze out your thinking can be a huge challenge. The discipline it takes to sit down and regularly write will challenge you. To push through when you don't want to develop the discipline of regularly writing will change the way you work. The process of birthing a book has many moments that can catch you out. There is the why me? What do I know phase. This is when you question what the world would need from yet another book on a topic where there seems so much already written. You are the only person with your unique combination of experience, expertise, and essence. Your essence will determine what you will write, who you will write for, and what your words will feel like. This is why it's important that it is you that writes your book. While it's tempting to outsource this to an expert, the greatest gift that you can give yourself is the gift of being a writer. The second phase is the bum glue phase. This is where you learn what keeps you in the chair to do the writing, what your writing preferences are, how and where you like to write. You need to set yourself up as a writer. Create a space. Get the things that you need. Set yourself up for success. For my first book, I hand-wrote everything into 8 exercise books. Handwriting felt better, and I had 8 separate containers, one for each chapter, which helped me to stay focused on what I was writing about. In more recent books, I've done them all digitally. I've written them in note form. I've written them in Word. I've written them in Apple Word. I've used all kinds of different platforms. But for my first one, I found actually handwriting it was incredibly releasing, and I really enjoyed the process. So there's no wrong way to write a book. The third phase is the feedback phase. This is where you get other people's opinion on your work. This was a bit I really struggled with and learnt a lot about myself in the process. So having someone else judge your writing is similar to having someone judge one of your children. People telling you what is wrong with something you have created is weird. And it turns out that feedback and advice is actually incredibly helpful, as it allows you to experience what it's like to be on the other side of your work. What your work feels like when it's in service to your client or your reader. So if your editor doesn't understand things, you can count on the fact that the public and the people reading your book won't understand it either. The fourth phase is the out there bit, the bit where you tell people you've written a book, where you market and promote yourself. This bit is equally as weird. This is where you realise you are putting your thinking out into the world. You are no longer a secret. You are acknowledging to the world that you have a story or some experiences to share. How people respond to this says a lot about them. Some people will be happy for you for what you are doing. Some will be threatened. I remember a student telling me the idea of being judged was stopping her from putting her book out into the world. I laughed and said, well, you'll mostly be judged by people who have never actually written a book. The third reason you should write a book is that you will see yourself as a writer. And while many of us believe that we might have a great story or we've got huge amounts of experience or expertise, we often fall under the trap of believing we are not a writer. A writer is just someone who writes. And developing the habit of writing is one of the greatest things you can create if you're wanting to lead the thinking in an area of expertise. But doubt is a killer. So if you think you are not a good writer, then you will never write. Not being good enough is a huge problem for many humans in many areas of life, and writing is definitely a common one. So being told as a child that you are not a good writer has thrown many adults off track. Just start writing. Get some feedback and then keep writing. This is where the magic happens, when you start writing in flow. Writing in flow feels amazing. It's as if you are sat in the middle of a stream of ideas and words. There are so many ways that you can get into flow. Walking and meditating are wonderful ways to access your thoughts. Working on what works for you is the best way. Do you like to write in the morning or the afternoon, the evening maybe, after exercise? Work in a way that works for you. The goal of being a thought leader is to be known for knowing something, and writing regularly will help you to get known. It will give you IP that you can share with the world, and when you write on topics that are relevant to a market you are working with, when your thinking and your research are thorough, and your writing is regular, your ideas will become elegant. How good is that? So I'd love to hear from you. I'd love you to reply to this blog and tell me, what is your biggest block to writing? What has stopped you, or what is stopping you from writing your first or next book? Send me a message. Bye.